Welcome to the beginning of the podcast, which should be really exciting because we haven't recorded a podcast in 2 weeks. So we have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. It's going to be a robust 2 hours. And I mean robust, not like I mean heavily robust 2 hours.
Heavily
Chad, what do you
robust.
what do you got? What the hell's happened to you?
I don't remember what happened in the last 2 weeks,
No, that's not productive. Mike,
but
what
we're
happened to you?
It was very uneventful 2 weeks.
I'm moving on from you, Chad. You see how fast that happened? Boom. Later. Bye. Been good. I don't remember. Fine. We accept that. We move forward. To Mike, who's accomplished nothing in 2 weeks.
I've just been looking at the Paver King stories coming in of him sitting at a beach for the past week and wishing I was there. Looking at
I
your
wasn't
problems that you had
wasn't sitting at a beach. I
um,
was working.
working.
Someone had to
did you
stop the
rectify the
waves.
problems on the job site?
Absolutely. Before I left the resort, it was completely rectified. There's
Hmm,
no more problems. I
no more problems on
No,
the whole
I didn't
resort.
not rectified any of the problems. No problems were rectified at all. But that is a problem. That wall washing out, definitely a fucking problem.
Why do you think the wall's there?
I'm gonna guess that normally the waves hit it. Maybe I don't. Maybe they needed
I think
an elevation change from the because the pool is kind of right behind there. I don't know.
so. Whenever I was in Dominican, I noticed that the walls often stopped the sand from blowing across the walkways. And in
Mm,
places that they didn't have the walls, they were constantly shoveling the sand back onto the beach.
maybe that.
Perpetually shoveling the sand back onto the beach from
Well,
the walkway.
I would say in the Dominican, the opposite problem of here, where we often clamor on and everyone talks about the labor shortage here. I would say there's the opposite problem. There's a vast amount of people willing to do the labor. Um, I think it's maybe the opposite problem. There's more labor than there is work there,
Hmm.
Hmm.
which
Did you
is
inquire about
interesting.
taking anyone back?
No, no, I did not. I uh, I kept my head down and caused no trouble.
How was it though? How was the vacation?
It was good. It was a beautiful wedding.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding. It was a good vacation. I We don't normally go to resorts that were that big. It was a huge resort, so that was a new experience because we usually go to very small places,
Hmm.
a little bit more intimate. So it was a different experience, but the staff was very nice and the food was good. And I don't didn't drink any alcohol, but the people who did seemed to enjoy it.
Did you meet any fans?
No, no fans. Even when I was shooting on the beach, no one noticed me.
Oh
No
man.
one cared about me at all for a whole week. It was pretty low
Even
pressure.
back home?
Oh, well, no one cares
Or
about me here ever. So
did
I
did the workers miss you back here?
don't think they did. They all
Wow.
did a great
Oh
job.
no,
They held down the
really?
fort. They did a great job. They didn't
Does
call
that make
me.
you does it make you feel better or worse about yourself knowing that they got on just fine without you?
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that till now. That's a fair question, though. I
Like
it so the whole experience of us being away and them working, I it made me happy that they all seemed to have a successful week and they all problem solved and
yeah.
no one seemed to have any major issues. So I think that was a good, maybe some of the systems we're laying down and building here are panning out for us. You know,
Does it make you think that maybe you could do it again in the future?
yeah, I think we could go away again. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we could definitely go away again. I felt like the whole thing went pretty well. I think it was. I was really happy for the couple that got married. They seemed to have a great trip and really enjoy themselves, which was the most important thing.
Weather
Is
was
their
good.
wedding. It was rainy the first 2 days, but then it cleared up for the wedding on Tuesday, and it was beautiful after that.
Nice.
So that was great. Yes, that was
Oh,
great.
no.
What did you guys do?
We slaved away in the cold. We
Nice.
finished the rest of our sod. Actually, today was the last day for sod for us. we've got half a pallet left because I made sure to order extra, and we're gonna find a space to put it down tomorrow, I think. Um, we can breathe a little easier at work, knowing that all the tough stuff is done. Now I'm just on the inspector's ass to get everything measured up before it gets covered in snow, and
Yes.
we have to dispute quantities all winter. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Oh, because of the snow. Yeah.
yeah, we won't be able to tell how much sod is down, and uh,
So
I don't
did you
know.
measure it?
Oh yeah, I measured it, but then
Oh,
my measurements mean nothing because the inspectors have to measure it, and they're going to use their quantities, right? So my quantities are purely for me to order sod.
so how often, what's the average difference between your quantities and theirs?
I'd say 5% usually. Like,
5% lower or 5% higher?
oh, I'm 5% higher, always. Ah, one time I was low, and the inspectors were high. But I mean,
What do you think causes the variance? Them just trying to fuck you or them being incompetent?
so I measure by how much sod we put down. Like, I'll take a rough measurement, order the sod. Say we put down 18 pallets. I'll say, okay, we put down 18 pallets at 700 square feet a pallet. Do the math, and then that's what I'll say our totals are. Right?
What do you allow for waste?
We do,
5% is
we don't
what's
waste.
exactly their number.
No, we don't waste. We use every little scrap there is. Like, we
So
don't leave.
there's a potential variance between what you potentially might throw away, maybe when you're piecing this. We used to call it piecing when you're
Yeah,
doing the piecing.
we um we don't have any waste. Like, I'm talking zero waste, other than full rolls. Like, we use everything, and the inspectors
So,
go, "Well, shouldn't this be bigger pieces?" And I say, "No, because you don't pay us for any extra. You literally get what you bill. We're allowed to bill for what we put down. So I'm putting down every single scrap until you put in a contingency for 10% waste or whatever, you're going to get every single little scrap that you're paying for.
so you're saying they get what they deserve.
Absolutely.
Have you ever looked at them and said, it looks, I don't, big pieces, small pieces, it all looks the same from my house, fucker?
Oh, yeah. I get on real well with the inspectors here. No,
It
they're
all looks great. It all looks great from my house.
no,
Big
it's
pieces, small pieces, mother, I don't give a fuck.
no, my excuse is come back next year and tell me where the pieces are, and then we'll talk about it when
Ooh,
warranty is up.
Has anyone
You
ever
know,
called you back and said, there's those little
never,
pieces, you
not
motherfucker?
once. No, not once. But we also water the sod heavily, and that helps the little pieces take off, right? Like, if you don't water those little pieces in the summer, they're pooched.
So
do you always
essentially,
have to meet the inspector?
They're around. Like, do I have to go and formally meet them for measuring time?
Yeah.
Or no,
Whenever a job's wrapped up, do you always make a point to go meet them?
no, because they're always
Okay.
around during the job. They want to shoot the shit for 2 hours in their truck
because they're
while
bored.
because they're bored. Yeah. Oh
Ah,
yeah. That's their job is to walk around and shoot the shit with the higher ups at the civil companies and the subs, and that's that's it.
interesting.
Mind you,
Well,
we had a big go ahead.
they're supposed to be maintaining a level of quality
Yeah. And to a degree they are. And they're a good mediator
and making
between
sure you follow their rules.
yeah, yeah. They're a great mediator between us and the homeowners sometimes when the homeowners are ridiculous.
Mm.
So keeps us out of
How much of
trouble.
this street rehabilitation is there? Like just a
Uh,
constant thing?
well, every year I'd assume they do this in every city. They redo a couple streets, right? Like they're putting new
Not in
water
Oshawa.
main in. No,
That's
they,
Oshawa.
they don't have a budget for
Not
repairing
that I've ever,
streets
not
and
that I've ever seen.
infrastructure. And
Our infrastructure is pretty shitty here. Have you ever been
really,
here?
no, no.
So there was a stretch of, um, but there's a stretch between Wilson and Ritson Road of some people call it Bailey Baseline. I don't know. It changes names a bunch of times. It was considered the worst stretch of road in Canada for like 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And someone
Yeah.
fixed it?
No, it's still shitty. There's just shittier road.
Where there's a shittier road all of a
There's
sudden.
shittier roads than
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
See,
When the
like,
kids when the kids were little and we went away, because everyone always asks you where you're from. Where are you from? Right? I mean, that's whenever you go to
yeah,
anywhere, people are like, where are you
yeah.
from? I used to make the kids used to always say, we're from the Schwa.
Schwa. I've heard the
Schwa.
dirty schwa.
The schwa.
She's dirty, but she's home.
Everybody's got a home.
There was a guy with a big sign on that, like on the side of his house. Said the Schwa, she's dirty, but she's home.
That's all right.
It was on a sign on the guy's house or in his window. I don't remember. Maybe it's still there.
I went to university with a guy from Oshawa.
And how was that?
He was a character, that's for sure.
That's how we breed them.
He sometimes messages me asking me to borrow $20.
Like
No word of a lie.
he wants you to Venmo him $20.
Yeah.
Do you ever
Like,
send it to him?
absolutely not. No.
You should. Just
He
once.
once, years and years ago, he thought about becoming a landscaper, and he was sending me pictures of little steps he'd been building and stuff like that. I'm like, great, Dave.
And
Good for
asking you
you.
for $20.
Nah, those were separate occasions, but yeah.
To tell him if you're starting a landscape company, you need a fuck ton more than $20.
Fuck done more than $20.
I posted this. I don't know if you guys saw it. I posted this thing on Instagram, and it says this is interesting. I found this interesting on the Instagram algorithm more than the just because people are saying like photographs are dead or whatever. Like if it's not video, no one cares. So I posted this thing that says looking for people who want to turn $100,000 into $10,000. This isn't a scam. We will be starting a landscaping company. Thought it was funny, amusing. So it's been up for, I don't know, not very long. Maybe like 3 hours or something. I don't remember exactly when I posted this, but not very long ago, maybe 3 or 4 hours. It has 333 likes already.
Wow.
I like that one.
Which
Yeah.
crushes like, so I'm beginning to think that maybe the algorithm is jumping back to photographs.
Well, they said about like 3 or 4 months ago that they were coming back to photographs. That Instagram was going to push photographs more to get back to their roots.
Yeah.
I like that.
So maybe that's what, because I mean, it is, I guess it's a photograph of a saying. I also on it, out of interest sake, went because they launched all new filters, eh?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I used a new filter. It's called the colorful filter.
Mm.
I felt like it was colorful, but not LGBTQ2745 colorful.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
what?
Nothing.
What?
I'm so sick of that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I just don't. It's nice though. It's a nice, colorful post. So, and I
Yeah.
added music to my picture because that's what everyone. When people look at my picture, they definitely want to hear music. You can add music to notes now. So, like you do
really?
those. Yeah. So I can on this account. I don't know if I can on the other accounts.
I still can't access notes.
Really?
Yeah,
Maybe it's on account of your phone being an iPhone 6.
What happened to that?
No, well, I can't access it on How to Hardscape, but I can on I Am a Hardscaper.
So if you're writing a note, mine comes up and it says
Prepare for infinity and beyond.
well, no, because I don't know if you noticed, but Caleb posted a thing that said prepare for 24. So I posted a thing that said prepare for 25. And then he posted a thing that said prepare for 26. And then I posted a thing that said prepare for 27. And then he posted a thing that said prepare for infinity. So then I posted a thing that said prepare for infinity and beyond. And I was wondering if anyone else on the planet saw that back and forth exchange between the two of us, or we were just purely doing it for our own personal amusement. And then maybe Caleb has some other shit going on, and I was only doing it for my own personal amusement, and he had no idea what was going on. Is also a possibility. But it's just me laughing at the notes. I like the notes because very few people use it, so you can almost respond to someone. Like if someone I responded to Chad before and you've responded
Yeah.
back
Oh yeah.
on the that's why I like it because it's this weird. Did someone see this? Do they even know what I'm talking? But yeah, if I put a note, I can add music to it. Except that when you add music to it, all it shows in the note is the title of the song and not the note. I'm like, well, why the fuck would anyone want that? They can't read the note. All they're seeing is that I posted some song. It's stupid. I feel like it's a bit overdone. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we need music on notes.
Yeah.
Pick your viral trending. That's the other thing that started driving me nuts. It's like every single post I get now is, "Do you want to know how to go viral? Read my comments." You don't want to. So I started making those posts because it's just so stupid. I posted a bunch of stuff about how to go viral, but it was just all bullshit.
It'd be cool if you could add like the podcast, listening to Not Our Finest Hour.
Ooh, can you do that?
No, I was
No,
just
you
playing
can't.
around with
Well, you
it.
could. Well, you could
If they linked
if
it to
you
Spotify.
no, you could do it if you. So if you were to go to one of our podcast posts and then save the music, the sound as
Oh
saved,
yeah,
and then go to your note and then go to your saved music, you could put it into the note.
man, PK, you're a thinker.
I've spent a lot of time fucking around on social media things to accomplish some stupid inane thing that no one else ever notices but me. I've spent hours fucking with something to get it to come out the right way. And I'm like, I bet no one noticed. It's like people who cut fucking 45s on the corners of their patios. The only people that notice are other landscapers. No one else gives a fuck. No
There's been
homeowner,
some.
like, like no one's buying a house. Say you've got a house for sale and you're selling it and you're saying, my landscaping is going to sell my house. Do you think that anyone's ever walked into a backyard and looked around to potentially purchase the property and been like, yeah, fuck this house. No one cut 45s on the corners of the patio. I'm out of here. Fuck this bitch. This is fucking crazy. Who would pots? I can't live here. I can't fucking
I
have a
can't
party
live here.
here. I can't bring a cooler out and drink some beers. There's no 45s on the fucking corners. No one wasted their time doing that. There's no fucking way I can live here. That has never happened. The only people that give a fuck about 45s on corners of patios are other landscapers. And it makes for a nice post on Instagram. And
Yeah.
if you think if anyone cutting 45s on corners of patios thinks they're doing it for anyone but themselves and the Instagram community, they're fucking delusional. That's hey, you guys disagree with that?
No, I agree with you. Like,
And I don't if you
if
want to
it,
do that, if you want to cut 45s for yourself and so that you can brag about doing it on Instagram, more power to you. But don't pretend that some homeowner gives a fuck about it.
some homeowners do.
It
I
I want to see the email, the actual email from a homeowner that before you sign the contract has sent you back an email that says, if you don't 45 the corners, I'm not signing this contract.
I don't think it ever would come up before. I think
It
it
would
would
never
always
fuck
come
it.
up after.
If it doesn't, even if you just did a patio and did natural corners, no homeowner is going to come to you and be like, hey, these aren't 45. Unless some other person on the Instagram that they were following was like, hey, yo, that guy did 45s on the corners and you didn't, bitch. You're no good. How can I brag about you on Instagram? You got to do it now. I don't care if
You
people
gotta
do it,
do it.
but stop pretending that it's some ultra important fucking shit. It's not. No one cares but you. And me, I guess, because I just got brought it up
So,
and yelled about it for 15 minutes. So I obviously
so
care about it too.
where does it end though, right? Like, so you don't 45 the corners, but is that the same guy?
I
Like,
don't
just because
40.
you don't 45 corners,
I've never 45 the corner in my fucking life. I still think I
hear
do a
me
good
out.
quality of work.
Never.
But
Okay. Fair.
where's
Fair.
where do you draw the line, right? Because if you're not 45ing corners, are you also not mitering around a circle or something? Like, are you putting wedges in? Like, where's the defining line between a good landscaper and a shit landscaper? Because
I
a
think
bunch
that
of the old
I
school
think
guys in my
so.
city would put wedges everywhere. like a big soldier course, but
So
they'd stick fucking wedges in there.
you, so what defines a good landscaper from a bad landscaper is, are your clients happy? Who gives a shit if other landscapers are happy? Like if
Mm,
some client puts a bunch of wedges in a circle, if you, I don't personally do this, but, and I'm not defending the behavior, but if if you go and work for a client and you cut a bunch of wedges and they pay you and they're ecstatic with the product and think it's amazing, I think that makes you good landscape. Like you're
so
being successful and paying your bills and having keeping your clients happy and having your clients really happy. Those are the things to me that make you a good, like, I don't know. I mean,
mm,
you can, I, what if you don't pay so do you think you're a good landscaper if you miter your circles, but you don't pay your bills and all your clients hate you? Do you think you're a good landscaper then?
you might be a good landscaper, but not a good business owner,
Fair.
right?
Yeah.
But
Um,
if you're not a good business owner, are you a good landscaper? If you don't own the business, if you're just a worker at the business and you miter all the circles, but everyone hates you, you could say you're still a good landscaper.
yeah,
A
But
good
if you're the owner of the
craftsman.
business, I guess you have to define. You're right. That's a really good point. Like do you, if you're saying you're a good landscape, are you talking about a good landscape business? Because I made it about the business, not about the individual,
Mm.
which maybe
yeah.
I was wrong.
And I've struggled with that recently, right? I'm my business owner, I'm my landscaper, and I try and straddle a foot in both worlds. And
So maybe you're
so
shitty
far,
at
it's
both.
maybe I'm shitty at both,
I'm just
right?
joking. I'm
And
just
that
joking. I'm
I
joking.
could completely understand that. Like, I know I'm not the absolute best business owner. I'm a pretty darn good landscaper if I put my head down and do it, right? But the divide gets wider and wider as we grow as a company, and I can't do both.
I feel that
So,
pressure. Same as you.
like, yeah. Um,
It's, am I a truck driver? Am I a landscaper? Am I a machine operator? Am I the owner of the business? And when is the business
yeah.
big enough that I'm just the owner of the business? And will the business, I feel like we're at a point where if I don't stop being a truck driver and a machine operator and a landscaper at least 80% of the time and don't be the business owner, the business and the people who work at it are going to suffer.
Hmm.
I would say
Then,
last year I was 10% business owner, 90% truck driver, machine operator, landscaper. Not this season, the season before.
yeah.
What
What
do you
about
think
this
your
season?
we weren't as busy this year, but probably 70-30. But I think it needs to be 80-20 the other way
Mm.
for the next season.
I have a problem. We've like natural design has a fairly high end client base whenever we do residential stuff, right? Um, and I've been asked to do this big job next year for a client, awesome guy. Um, but I know full well that I can't devote 100% of my attention to this job, and this job requires 100% of my attention to be done correctly, right? But I also have all this other shit going on. What's the course of action? I don't want to lose the job, right? But I have to be there at least daily for an hour or 2 hours or something to make sure that ship runs smoothly. So we still have all this residential weight on our shoulders, and I'm no longer the residential guy. But I don't want to lose it, right? Because say the economy shits the bed, I still need to tap that revenue stream. So you
You
can
want
never
my
just say
solution to
no.
the problem?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
So,
why I asked you guys.
uh, my solution to the problem is, and we're in the current situation with that now. We have two big planting jobs going on, and they both need to go smoothly. And so I have a subcontractor that works with us who's owns his business and is very good at running his business. And so he needed a couple weeks work. So he came in and um, he's done some of our really high end work in the past where I brought him in and his team. And that allows me to, like, I went there this morning, I set him up, I showed him the ropes. We did a walk around with the client. We talked about everything. He knows he can call me. I picked up a post pounder and a scale ruler for him. I have one of our team members is on site working with him. And that team member for us is a great, a good landscaper and a good guy, but he's not in a place to manage and run the job. And that's okay. That doesn't make him a bad person. He's just not the person for that job.
Yeah.
And our foreman is running a job in Peterborough, so he can't be there, and I can't. I'm making every valid attempt to not be places full time and to spend more time running the company. So I just, he's an expert and he's really good and he's a highly qualified. So I brought him and his team in. If you have that big job that you want to do and you know someone that does high end residential, I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing him in and or her in, whoever it is,
I'm not
managing the
opposed to it
project.
by any means,
Especially
but
next year, if things slow down, there's definitely going to be people that are still good landscapers that might be looking for work too, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I'd say there's a handful, maybe 10 good landscapers, and I don't know if I can trust any of them to do. Well, I know the ones that I would trust are busy, right? There's a
But
reason
are
that
they?
they're busy. Yeah. I
A
mean,
lot of people a lot of people will look for discrete, like, so the guy we're working with is busy. He's good at sales. He does amazing work. But sometimes for a few weeks he likes to have a break and he just
yeah,
comes and works. And we handle all
that's,
the management and we
yeah,
manage all the money. And it's how you sell it to that person. Like, if there might be a guy in a company in your area that's maybe 3-4 people deep, and the owner is selling and managing, and you did it, and you know how hard it is, and maybe for a nice little 5 or 6 week job in the spring, they would like to be able to concentrate on sales later in the season and come in and do your work where they don't have to worry about ordering the material or dealing with it. They
yeah,
just need to come in, work, and then focus on the things that they need to do.
yeah,
Then
I
maybe
suppose.
that's a way to sell it.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how things fall on this one. I'm fairly certain we're doing it regardless, so we just find a way to do it as always. Like, I don't know how we pull things out of our ass like that, but it happens. So we'll
I
just do what
think
we
that
can.
you see shit tons of people posting no subcontractors, we do it all, or like, and then people have like a bad taste about subcontractors or something. I don't know. I don't have that same feeling about it.
I think a lot of
No,
people just try to get anybody as a subcontractor, as opposed to, like in your case, having a
Yeah.
network of people that you can rely on. I think people see it more so as like an easy money making opportunity and then just try to get anybody. And that leaves a bad, kind of like a client looking for any landscaper to get their job done. And then it's a bad taste in their mouth as hiring landscapers.
yeah, I couldn't just pick a name out of a phone book and sub them on one of
Yeah.
my jobs.
No, I wouldn't do that either. That's not, yeah. I'm not in any way saying that's a good idea, but I think that managed properly and having the right people, you can have very productive relationships both ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I agree.
I I don't know if you guys saw, I have a 20-ton shovel at my yard
Yeah.
right now.
Hitachi. Nice.
That's for sure. It's a John Deere shovel, right? Because Hitachi and John Deere had a partnership where they made
Yeah.
big shovels together for the longest time. Um, do you think I can find
Well,
work for that shovel?
don't you think it qualifies as a high ho?
That high ho. Is it? It's high enough? It's almost the height of my shop, so I
Is
Maybe
that a
would
it's
high
assume
ho?
it's a high ho. Um,
it's not whether or not you can you find enough work to pay for it.
well, that's it. Like, I don't know if I can, but I love this thing. Like, I'm smitten by this shovel. And I don't
I,
even like it's a Hitachi. There's no reason for me to be in love with this thing, but it's a very nice
I think
machine
Hitachi.
for what it is.
I worked for a company that had a lot of Hitachis, and I thought they were really good
Yeah.
machines.
Dude, it's
This
got
is
a
back
heated
in the
seat,
day.
pin grabber, the whole thing, keyless entry. No, yeah, you need a code for it. Um, it's 4,000 hours in, and it's solid as a rock. No play in it at all. Like it's a nice shovel. But I wonder what a landscaper does with a 20-ton shovel.
Yeah, but are you a landscaper anymore?
Am I? Am
I
I
don't
having
know.
this existential crisis?
Maybe. I've been having it for a year. I
I
like
can't even
I
float the thing around.
Yeah, but you can hire a float service.
Yeah, I know. But
I mean, I don't think having your own ability to the only way you're floating that is on a well, it would go on our 30-ton float. So I guess if you wanted to, you could put it on a deck over float, but it makes it you're really scraping the bridges.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
uncomfortable with a 20-ton on our 30-ton float.
Well,
Like,
there's
legally,
yeah,
we could do it, but it makes me feel ill, so we don't.
yeah. I get that. Yeah,
But I don't think I think there's a lot of companies that have big big high hose and they they don't have a float tractor.
yeah.
They just have a float. That's why like float tractor services exist. I don't think that
Well,
should be
yeah.
any.
You bill it out, right? Like
How
you
many
bill it
jobs would how many jobs would you have used it on this year?
two, one, two, maybe
And how long were those jobs? Because that's the more
a
pertinent thing.
week, maybe. So 2 weeks a year.
So this year, if you'd had it, you would have used it for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
How much of the work at your own yard would you have done with it, as opposed to hiring
a
those guys?
lot. Like at my own yard, as opposed to hiring guys.
Well, you just
I,
hired those guys to do the land clearing or land moving or
yeah, for twenty
earthworks.
thousand dollars, like it wouldn't.
Okay, well that probably would have made the payments on it for most of the year.
Uh, yeah, I don't want to finance this thing. I want to pay it out if I get it.
Well, I'm just saying, but
But yeah,
even if you don't finance it, you still need to group the money
yeah,
monthly,
yeah.
right, Mike?
Sorry, say that again. I wasn't paying attention. I'm
We were
sorry.
talking about knowing your numbers.
Were you? Okay.
I'm just saying, even if you buy it outright, at some point you have to replace it.
Correct.
So you need to recoup. You need to think about at least recouping the money monthly, even if you own it outright.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, how much is it?
$158,000.
So a payment on $158,000 is probably around $3,000 a month.
Yeah, it's the same
Somewhere
price
around.
as my 8-ton shovel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a really good price for that excavator, personally.
Yeah, it
First
is.
of
Like
all, I think that's a really fair price. I
I'm
think
like,
I'd have a tough time letting that leave my yard too for that money.
yeah.
So it's the worst case scenario with that excavator is that you're going to have to take $3,000 a month worth of money from other places to pay for it.
Correct.
I can tell you right now, there's way fucking worse ways to waste $3,000 a month than paying off a machine that when you're done paying for it will still be worth 130 grand.
Yeah. You're
Like if
making
it
it
was,
real easy for me to buy this fucking thing.
because I think it's smart.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem. I think it's a smart buy. That's why I'm just in my mind. You had 2 jobs this year for it where it would have worked, right?
Yeah.
What were the value of those jobs?
Say 100 grand between the pair.
Between the two of them, the pair,
Yeah.
so 50,000 a job.
Yeah.
How do you think you would have got it done faster with that excavator?
Oh, that bucket is a 72-inch bucket.
Yeah.
She's a working bucket.
So you had two jobs you could have used it at this year. You invested $20,000 in your yard that you probably could have done the work yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you buy this and you find out 2 years from now that you didn't use it very much, you can probably still sell it for $145,000 because it'll still be a great excavator with only 4,000 hours on it.
Yeah.
If you don't use it. And so here's the rub of it really is it has 4,000 hours on it. It's worth 158 grand, which I think is super fair for it, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
If you don't use it for the next 24 months and you find out that you don't need a 20-ton shovel slash high ho slash excavator, the worst case scenario is it still has 4,000 hours on it. It's 2 years older. It's probably still worth 150 grand.
Yeah.
So really your debate is, to me, can I find $8,000 worth of work for this excavator for the next 2 years? Because that's all you're really going to lose on it. The truth is you'll absolutely find $8,000 worth of work for it.
Well, I like to justify things to myself, right? As I think we all do whenever we buy things,
Absolutely.
right? Like
I totally
we
agree with
find
you.
ways to justify our purchases because we want these fun, cool, new, shiny things that look awesome. And I'm like, well, I got $250,000 of topsoil here, but I have no way to put through the screener. And like, if
Yes,
I buy this shovel, that's the perfect thing to load a screener,
it
Are you
is.
buying a
right?
screener?
Well, then I'm in it for another 100 grand, right?
You
And
can get a
then
screener for 100 grand.
But
Sick.
then you can sell it afterwards.
a minimum 100 grand. Yeah, but then you
Yeah.
can
Well,
sell
but
it.
here,
Like,
so yeah, but if you have a place that's a legal topsoil processing facility, and you're processing topsoil, it's not just about the soil you have there now. It's about finding people that are doing topsoil jobs and bring more topsoil to your yard so that you can charge them to dump the topsoil at your yard. Then you can screen it and sell it back to other people. But
yeah,
none of that happens without that equipment.
none of that happens without that equipment.
Do you want
Yeah,
it? Well, you already have two tandems too, which is great for soil delivery
yeah,
because a
yeah.
lot of soil delivery is between 5 and 12 yards for homeowners. If you want it, like,
I accidentally sold topsoil once out of town. I had it on my truck and I stopped to do an estimate at a job out of town while I was driving the tandem. And the neighbor came up and banged on my door. It's like, can you sell me that topsoil? I said, sure, I can sell you this topsoil. I
sure,
was going
man,
to deliver it
absolutely.
down the road, but yeah, I can sell it to you. We worked out a deal and I dumped it in his backyard.
Nice.
He went inside and grabbed money.
See, you're already a topsoil company.
Already a topsoil company.
Is this the next business idea?
Topsoil in my city is very cost effective, so I don't
Oh.
know. But if anything, we can use it on our jobs at least.
On
How
Alibaba,
much
you can
top?
find screeners.
How much did
Yeah.
you? How much did you spend on topsoil this year?
I want to say 100 grand at least.
So if you processed it yourself, you could probably take 20 grand out of that and put it towards your excavator.
Yeah, at least. Well, consider it. Well, topsoil delivered is $18 a yard. Topsoil, our own topsoil is $0 a yard. I
Wow,
don't know what the math is to put it through the screener and into the truck and deliver it, but
that I couldn't tell you. But in the truck, you could charge out the truck at your truck's hourly rate and figure out what the delivered cost is per
yeah,
yard, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but again, I think when you're doing all of that, you're paying for your own equipment. So as long as you're covering, like, you're paying yourself, which to me is always
yeah.
better.
Better than paying someone else
Yeah.
for sure,
Why is
for
that
sure.
excavator at your yard?
Because I'm borrowing it to dig my foundation for my house this week.
Ooh.
So we put in a driveway the last 2 days. Um, I didn't know that the driveway was 165 feet long, and it's also raised 3 feet from the road. So all of my scrap brick that I was going to sell, dismantle and sell, is buried at the bottom of my driveway now. It's
Perfect.
like 10 to 15 tandem loads of stone and concrete cuts, brick cuts, old steps, shit like that. It's just one hard road of landscape fill material.
So I have a question for you building a road.
Yeah.
So right now I have access to a product and it's called slag, and it's an offshoot in the production of steel. And then they break it down. It's something this it goes molten, they make steel, they end up with this after product from the steel, then they put it through a crusher, and it comes out either they call it 1 inch minus, which is basically 3/4 clear, or they have an HPB size, or they have a Gabion stone size of it.
Does it rust?
So it doesn't. It's because steel is made essentially from rock, right? It's
Yeah.
something to do with iron ore,
Yeah.
and so it's tested, it's clean, it has all the environmental testing done. The person who brought it forward was an environmental person, uh, and it is to buy it is a third of the cost of buying clear stone. It has the same
So,
compression. Like the only thing it's not certified to use in is for foundations for like deep foundations for like apartment buildings. You can't put it down and form on it because it's. But we took it out and we hit it with a hammer. Then we hit 3/4 clear with a hammer to see what the resistance is in terms of it breaking down. So it has all the testing with it. It's a
hmm.
third of the cost. It's been tested and it's clean of any contaminants. If there's no contaminants, no contamination in it. Um, would you buy it for your driveway?
Yeah, give it a shot. I'd rather use it on my driveway than someone else's driveway.
So, right to that theory was I had Darian go down and get a load of it today to bring to our yard. And I
Yeah.
wanted to spread it around and see what the fuck happened
See
with
what
it
it
because
does. Like,
see what it does. Yeah.
imagine the shitstorm if you put it on someone's job and it reacts terribly. It turns the fucking road rust red or whatever. Like it comes up under the pavers and everything's fucking orange or something like that. I'd rather that happen to me than happen to any one of my jobs.
Yeah. So I, people are using it. So I don't, anyways, I have access to it. I think of it in a, I think of it in a, like an open air application. It's black too. It comes out a black color.
Hmm.
So for me, when I like, it's illegal to bury asphalt in the ground, but it's not illegal to spread regrind asphalt in a parking lot because it's exposed to the air. That's the
No.
difference between the two. In case anyone was ever wondering, why the fuck can you grind up asphalt and spread it all over the place, but you can't legally bury it?
Hmm.
That's the difference, is the open air. So I thought of it as more of an open air application, but it also is approved as a gravel application. But it's, anyways, we have a pile of it at our yard to see what happens to it, or like look at it, or I'm going to spread it around with a skid
Look
steer
at it.
tomorrow. Well, I mean, someone brings you a sample bag of it, they're bringing the best of the best.
Yeah,
No one
that's true.
wanders around with a sample bag of shit gravel and says,
That
"I'm trying to sell this motherfucking shit." No, they're
that's why
bringing the.
those little pucks of sand harden up whenever they give them to you.
The polymer
Because they give you the best of the best.
They're
Try
giving
doing
you
that
the.
with a whole bag.
Well, there you go. That's a prime fucking example. I'm glad you worked some polymeric sand shot into this.
Yeah.
Every episode gets one. Oh,
I, for me, when it was offered for me to try and sell this product, I saw it as an open air parking lot sort of application where someone could say, like, say you're building your road. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
how much you've spent on gravel, but if you could spend 1/3 of that on gravel, would you prefer that?
absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and apparently it packs up. And the only difference between the sample bag that I can see and what Darian brought is that it's got a lot more fines in it than it did in the sample bag.
Mm,
So that leads me to believe that maybe it's not going through the same process.
yeah. I don't know.
Um, but also, I don't think I'd start building permeable parking lots on it. Like in the moment, maybe where Darian got it from in the pile wasn't like there's they're trying to move
Yeah.
60,000 tons of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, it'll get used. Everything cheap gets used.
yeah. Well, I also think that it came with testing and everything. It
Yeah.
didn't. It's not like someone's just putting it out in the black market. It's legit tested and ready to go. So
Yeah. I give it a go.
I don't know.
I
There you
called
go.
around. I said, "Does anybody have anything hard that I can use as a base?" And he's like, "Oh, I got a little bit." He's like, "Oh, if you bring your loader, you can load it." I'm like, "Fuck, I can't drive my loader across town for one load of material."
What is it?
So just brick cuts and all this
Oh,
shit.
brick cuts. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So we cleaned up our yard a fair bit. Then we
Where
realized we're
does it?
still going to be way low for the front yard and all this stuff. So good thing I can get some fill. I'm going to end up digging up the dump at the back of the property and spreading it across the front lawn and then putting some nice topsoil over it.
Well, what are you doing with the excavation from the basement?
That's going to backfill the house, which is half buried, but not fully buried for the foundation. So we're going to be short material.
Well, it's convenient that you haul material.
Yeah, there's no better outcome for this than having me do it myself,
If
which
you're
is
going to
fun.
mostly use this equipment around your yard, I'm just putting this out here now that you're on this streak of, because I like to think of things in many different ways. If you're mostly going to use this equipment around your yard, would you be better to buy an older 20-ton shovel and an older dozer together, or one 20-ton shovel that's newer?
I have an affinity for shiny things or newer things. Um, I thought about buying an old dozer and stuff like that, but the second things don't work, I get really fucking mad. And at a 30-year-old dozer, I'm just inviting problems,
Well, I
I
don't think you need
think.
to buy a 30-year-old dozer.
No, but a 20-year-old dozer and a 20-year-old shovel, inheriting someone's 20-year-old problems. Um, I just I'd rather have one shovel and it take a little longer because I can still flatten things with the skid steers and all that stuff,
Oh,
right? Like,
absolutely.
or
Yeah.
rent a
Yeah.
dozer. But like you say, the value of a 20-year-old dozer, I don't know. Like right now, machines still aren't at their rock bottom, right? I don't think, at least.
I think they're getting pretty close.
I think they're getting close. But
Well, even the trucks now, they're starting to sell them for way less than MSRP.
well, that's due. I mean, things were way high in the air. Like I saw a
Yeah.
hook lift yesterday for 380,000, a tandem hook lift for $380,000. I said, who's gonna buy this?
No one.
Like that's insane. Like for three
$380,000
hundred
for
and
a
eighty
tandem?
thousand dollars for a tandem hook lift. Yeah. I'm just like,
You can't make money with that.
you can't. You
No.
can't. Right
You'll
off the
never
lot.
you'll never make money with it. What kind
Yeah,
of truck was it?
Pete. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
What model?
Tandem G800. Is that what they are?
That's a Kenworth.
Kenworth? Wow.
That's a
Well
T800
over.
is Kenworth. It's
Yeah.
like even a Pete, like holy fuck, like it'd have to be
They
385 for a tandem. Maybe
they
that's what
got
they're worth now.
single axle hook lift, $244,000. Like, are you insane? For a single axle, $244,000.
That
I
seems
just,
a lot, like a lot. I don't know. It
yeah,
seems like a lot to me.
it seems like a lot to me. And I've overpaid for things before. So,
I would at 385, you'd have to hook a lot of bins.
yeah, yeah.
Well, even if you paid cash for it, so there was no interest. Let's say
Well,
the average fucking bin price is, you know, um, let's average out a bin price at $500.
you're flipping a lot of bins.
So 385,000 divided by 500, 770 bins. Doesn't seem right.
Hmm.
Times. Yeah, it's 385,000. Maybe it's not that many bins. 770 bins. Well, I don't. We didn't do that. We maybe did. I bet we did 375 bins this year. Maybe
Wow,
400.
wow,
400 bins.
that's a chunk of bins.
The year before
But
we did. The year before that, I think we did 440 bins.
hmm,
Well, but we did less this year. Maybe
you
three.
give, I think you should give out prizes every 100th bin or something. Gets a
No, I got to
something.
keep track of it. I'm shit at
Yeah.
keeping track of stuff.
Well, you don't have to actually be like number 100. You could just pretend, oh, you're number 100 this year in the PK promotional bin
PK promo.
thing.
You're saying
Yeah.
that some stuff on my account might not be legitimate or honest? Come on, man.
You could have like
Like,
a stamp card. Every 100th bin is a free one with your clients.
I think having a stamp card it could be a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that could be a legitimate. I think that there's people who would look at that and say, "Yeah, we definitely, uh, we definitely, um, people would probably check it or whatever." I think
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
would punch their cards. They would like it.
Would you make them carry around a card and have your drivers punch it? And
Yeah.
then if they
Oh
lose
yeah.
the card, they have to start from fresh?
There's no fucking. You got to work to get your free bin. Every 10th bin is free, baby. Every 10th bin is free.
Nice. I like that.
I used to do that with Subway back when high school. They would have like an
Oh, yeah.
eight circles to get punched.
Wendy's used to do that in my city,
Oh.
but then somebody who worked there stole the stickers and started giving them out. So they changed it from a sticker on the card to a punch, like a W
Oh yeah.
punch. And only the one specific lady had the punch and she had it on her belt there. And she was also the frosty lady. She'd go around and giving little sample
Frosty
size of
Lady.
frosties. Yeah,
Who doesn't want a sample size of Frosty? Why'd they shut
Right.
that shit down?
I don't know. That was great. You should give out sample size of frosties with every bin.
Especially during the summer.
If we could do like a Gatorade.
Have a frosty machine in your passenger seat.
Wow. When times are slow, you just pass off as a an ice cream truck and ding your
Right.
bell there.
We're gonna multi. Well, if you're paying 385,000 for the truck, you probably do need to sell ice cream as well as fucking do bins.
Yeah, yeah. You need other revenue streams. Um, I got into it with my lawyer's office yesterday.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you guys know how I have the CRA audit?
Yep.
Yes.
It comes to fruition on Thursday, and the guy is coming down and he specifically wants to see the minute book. Now, if you're incorporated, you have to have this thing called a minute book.
Yeah.
And every year the accountant somehow gets a hold of the lawyer and they validate how much you took in dividends or they do some accounting thing in in coalition with the lawyer to make you legit. Anyway, I've been trying to get this book for the better part of 2 months, and um, I called the accountant or the lawyer yesterday, and I said, "Listen, where's my book?" She's like, "Oh, well, the lawyer's very busy. I'll leave another message for him to get to it." I said, "I have this audit on Thursday. They're expecting to see this book. If you can't provide the book, I'll have no choice but to tell them that my lawyer will not give me this minute book." And she goes, "Okay, I'll make a note of it. I'll tell him that's what you said." I said, "Great, let me know." She called me back half an hour later and she goes, "Okay, we found your book. Um, the lawyer is very busy. He doesn't have time to stop everything he's doing just to get your book." And I'm like, "Well, you've had 2 months now." She said, "You only called me in October." I said, "Regardless, it's end of November now. Like, all I need is my book." And she goes, "Well, you threatened us and you're going to have to sign something that says you're taking the book because we don't want it to fall back on us, that you threatened us." And I'm like, "What do you mean? How did I threaten you? Like, by telling you that I was going to tell the CRA that you wouldn't give me my book? It was the truth." Right? And the lady went off on me some more. "The lawyer's so busy, he doesn't have time for this." I said, "Listen, I run a multi-million-dollar business too. Like, I know things take time, but like, you don't have to be a complete bitch about it." And then I hung up on her, went to pick up my book. She wouldn't even look me in the eye. Said, "Thank you very much." But
I'm never bringing.
the
I'm
best
never
part
bringing
about
this
the
back
whole
here.
story, the best part about the whole story, I was working in the mud at the yard yesterday. It rained. I got out of the truck before going into the lawyer's office and I kicked the mud off my boots on the curb. I took one step, I stepped in dog shit. Like, oh, great. Instead of wiping the dog shit off, I walked into the office, wiped my boots on the mat, picked up my minutes book, and laughed.
So are you taking the minutes book back to them?
No, not a chance. No, I'm done with this lawyer. And the lawyer was a really nice guy. He was a client of ours. Like, he was an all around nice guy. I just don't know. Like, I don't know. 5 years later, he's too busy for
Was there
us or
something
something.
fishy with the book?
No, it's never been touched. Like, it's brand new, incorporated from 2018 or whatever, right? Like,
I thought he was supposed to write in it every year.
yeah, they were. They never did. Between them and the account, they never did. So, anyway,
Wow.
what do you do?
So maybe that's why he didn't want to give you the book.
Well,
Has he charged you for writing in the book?
no, I never got an invoice from them. So,
Okay. So, well, at least he's not doing that.
yeah.
Like totally jobbing you, like 100% fucking you.
Yeah, no, not that I know of. Maybe there's an invoice that I paid somewhere along the lines, but I don't think so.
I so when we were away, one of the liens that we have called the general contractor called me directly to make another. They made an offer that was totally ridiculous, and then they called me to make a slightly less ridiculous offer. And so I said to the guy, I would rather go to court and lose and get nothing and it costs me 10 grand than accept your offer, because I can live with going to court and losing and being in the wrong, I guess being in the wrong, but I can't live with accepting your offer, because I'd rather go and lose than take the pitiless, tiny, ridiculous amount of money and then have you act like it's, because it's all these huge. One of them is this art gallery that we're dealing with, who obviously is owned by the city and has an endless source of money. And the other person is this big general contractor. So I guess they assume that like I am broke and desperate. And so they're just coming at me with ridiculous offer after ridiculous offer. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm in the right on this. So let's just go to court. Fuck you. But that consumed. So they called me on Friday night before we went away. But on the Friday night when the guy called me, I was embroiled in this thing because neither Kelly nor myself, and this is my fault, not Kelly's, had realized my passport was expiring in January. To which they're not super happy with you traveling. So then I was talking to Chris, and he found a thing on the Dominican website. And between the months of June 23rd and November 30th, 2023, there was an exception that you could travel to the Dominican as long as your passport was valid for the length of your trip.
Wow.
Wow.
How bizarre is that exception?
Yeah, that's
like.
Do you think they just update that every 6 months?
I don't know. I screenshotted it and took it because I was like, man, if these fuckers don't let me on, I'm going to show them this.
That's
Here, I pulled
already
this off the internet somewhere.
this
You
is
have to
from
let
the
me
internet. It has to be true. This is from the internet. I so I was already like, holy fuck, they're not going to let me go on this trip. Everyone's going to be so pissed at me. It's going to be. I was like, fuck. And then this idiot called me to offer like a third of what we're fucking owed and wanted me to act really happy and excited about it. And then seemed disappointed when I was like, yeah, fuck you. I'll just take you to court. I'd rather lose 10 grand in lawyer's fees and get nothing than accept that from you. Then he proceeded to tell me how lucky I was. And I said, again, I'm not interested in this. Then I texted him and said, I'm not interested in this. And then he called me on Monday when I was on vacation. And I was like, I'm still not interested in this. He's like, well, you need to be at the art gallery by 5 p.m. tonight to accept this offer. I said, I'm in the fucking Dominican Republic. And for the 15th time, I'm not accepting this bullshit. So fuck off. Stop calling me. I'll see you in court. And then he's like, you have to understand that our council is advising the art gallery and our council both advise you to take the offer. I said, well, obviously, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, they. And then I said to him, are you using general counsel? And he said, yeah, we're using our general counsel, who probably works for them because they're so big. I said, okay. I said, is the art gallery using general counsel? He said, yeah, they're using general counsel. I said, well, I'm using a fucking construction lawyer who told me that you're going to pay me all the money plus my lawyer fees if we go to court. And I fucking think that guy might know more than your fucking general counsel. Because that's all this guy does every day, all day is construction shit. He doesn't do anything else but that. This is what he deals with on a daily basis. So take your general counsel, who's also trying to get some drunk driver off charges, and shove it up your fucking ass. General counsel, it's someone who has a general knowledge of everything. I'm using a specific person that's specifically just for this process. I wouldn't call this guy. I wouldn't be calling our Construction Lien Act lawyer if I got pulled over by the cops for speeding or drunk driving, or I was robbing a house and got picked up. Like I would call a criminal attorney. I wouldn't call general counsel, you fucking moron. Like
but you've been advised.
Hey, bro, our general counsel is advising you this is the best deal you'll ever get. You should take it. I literally said, don't you think that seems kind of advantageous to you people? The guy was like, no. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Stop calling me, please. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Then I called my lawyer, and my lawyer was like, yeah, this guy's a fucking idiot. I was like, okay, great, perfect.
Yeah. And call him back and say, my lawyer advises you pay me in full.
My lawyer thinks your general counsel is wrong. Let them focus on your fucking HR problems, idiot. That happened when I was on vacation. I sort of forgot about that. Because I was dealing with the wall issue there and the wave, and the washout, and it was such a big problem, it fucking absorbed me.
Do you feel like problems are bigger on vacation or smaller or just further away?
Oh, I knew I wasn't making it to the settlement hearing at 5. Dude. So your expectation is I'm gonna run to the airport, use my almost fucking expired passport, jump on a plane, fly back, emergency flight, get there, and sign a deal for less than a third of what you fucking owe me. Yeah, that's happening, bro. If they were gonna pay me in full, I would have jumped on the plane and flown fucking home. And then
Yeah.
got back on a plane and flown back for the fucking wedding. But I ain't doing it for a third. Fuck off. I don't. But I was advised to by his lawyer.
His general counsel lawyer.
When do you think? When do you think it's appropriate to take the advice of your opposition's lawyer seriously? Like I couldn't think of one situation.
Yeah.
Like, listen,
Yeah.
man, I got a big game of cribbage going on here. I don't by poolside. I don't got time for your shit. 15-2, 15-4, the rest don't score, bitch.
Do you play cribbage?
I haven't played it in years, but we were playing it on me and the kids and Kelly's dad were all playing. It was fun. I had a good time with it. Why do you play?
No, I always thought it was an old person game.
I'm old. I'm 50. I was sitting around with Nate and he was playing cribbage, drinking Tom Collins.
Tom
like,
Collins.
Dude, you're like fucking acting like you're 70 years old here, man. What the fuck? Give me a Tom Collins. I'm gonna play some cribbage. It's a great game. It's a thinking man's game. So it's not for me. I'm not very good at it. Had a big game of cribbage going on. Did anyone ask any questions, Mike?